Hi everyone, so if you'd seen one of my recent videos talking about my language goals for 2022, you'd know that I am planning on learning 4 languages this year. So that's Korean, Mandarin, Italian and Spanish. Now, I'm not planning on taking all of the 4 languages seriously, so Italian is just for fun and Spanish I'm hopefully just planning to pick back up. So none of these languages are new for 2022, I have learnt them all previously. So my plan is to focus mainly on Mandarin and Korean and then just Italian for fun and pick Spanish up along the way somewhere. So I thought in this video I would talk about the things I am going to do this year to help me learn multiple languages at the same time and some tips to help you learn multiple languages at the same time. So I think the first thing is you need to be careful which languages you're picking and not pick too many. So I know sometimes when you see people speaking foreign languages and they look really exciting and cool, it's really easy to just want to learn them all. I think it's important just to pick like 1 or 2 and don't overextend yourself, because it's impossible to have enough time to learn multiple languages all at the same time. So pick a few that you think you're going to have time for all of them, so that you're not just picking bits here and there. The other thing as well, when picking multiple languages to learn at the same time, some people say learning languages from the same language family is good, others say it's not, so I think it depends on what you think is best for you. I am learning Spanish and Italian, so they are part of the same language family. However, like I said before, I'm just learning Italian for fun, and Spanish I have learned a long time ago, so I don't feel like I'm starting both of them from a beginner level. And not necessarily on the same timeline either. The problem with learning languages from the same language family is the words can be very similar, so it's very easy to mix them up. Obviously in some ways it's good because it's easier to know the words, but it's very easy to get them mixed up between the 2 languages. One way of doing this might be to pick sort of an easy language for your native language and then maybe a harder one. So for example, if you're a native English speaker, it might be good to pick like a Germanic language to start with, so like German, Dutch, something like that, and then something that's completely different, so you know, like Mandarin or Japanese or Thai or something like that that's like completely different, so then it's near impossible to get these 2 languages mixed up with each other, so you don't have that problem. The other thing that might help you with this, if you are going to learn 2 languages that are from the same language family, is to not start them at the same time, so you're at different points. So get yourself to like a B1 level or something like that before you start trying to learn this other one, just so that you're not learning the same subject at the same time, which would hopefully stop you from mixing the words up as easily. Like I said before, one thing that I'm doing is, even though I am planning on learning 4 languages this year, I'm only going to have 2 as a priority, so that's Mandarin and Korean, just because I think learning 4 languages at the same time and thinking they're all a priority is just near impossible, so I don't have enough time in the day to spend learning hours on hours of all 4 of the languages. So Korean is definitely my top priority, and then probably Mandarin, and then Italian is just for fun, just bits here and there, and then Spanish, it'll just be picking bits up whenever I have time kind of thing, and I haven't set like a specific start date on when I'm going to start trying to pick that back up. So as part of picking your priority, you kind of need to think of how much time do you actually have in a day or a week, however you're going to work it out, to actually spend time learning a language, and then with that think, well, if this is my top priority, then I need to spend such and such time learning this language, and then this is my second, so you know, so you split your time up with what your priorities are. I said before that if you are learning languages that are from the same language family, it might be best to get to a higher level in one before you start the second one. I kind of think this might not be the case if you are learning 2 languages that are completely different. So say for example you're learning colours in one, it might be useful to learn it for like all the different languages you're learning, so maybe spend like a week on like a different subject and learn it for all the different languages, so that you keep at the same pace. Another thing that I've also started to do recently is I really like using flashcards to revise words that I've recently learned. So what I have done recently, which I didn't do previously I had like a set for Korean and a set for Mandarin, is I've now like mixed and matched them all up, so it's just like one pile, so that I'm learning them together rather than two separate things. So I think this is helpful not at the beginning, but once you have like the foundation of the language down, and you can practice them all in one go rather than two different sessions for revising a subject. So yeah, I like using flashcards of two different languages together. I've made my own rather than buying them from anywhere. I think you can buy some decent flashcards online. I just prefer to make them myself because I like to do things I've learned recently rather than just ones that have already been pre-made. Another thing you can do as well is, once you've got the basics down for multiple languages, is use them to translate between each other. So you're practicing both languages at the same time rather than just one language. I did a video on language stacking a few months ago, so I will link that in the description. That's basically using a textbook in one language to learn another language, which is something that I have seen quite a few YouTubers use and they found really helpful. So that's something that I am going to be implementing probably into my Italian and Spanish, I think, but I haven't really got far into that yet. So yeah, I'll link the language stacking video in the description. So once you get the basics and understanding down for one language, to use one language to learn your next language. So I do think one main thing you do need to be aware of as well is you are likely to make much slower progress if you are learning multiple languages at the same time rather than one at a time, just because you've got to focus on multiple different things and you're not going to have as much time on each language. So I think it's important to think about, do you need to learn the language quickly? How much do you need to learn, and is there like a specific reason? So obviously if you want to be able to have like full conversations with people quickly in a certain language and that's important to you, it's probably much better to just focus on one. But if you're doing it for fun, or you don't have anything coming up in the like near future that you need to be, you know, conversational in a language, then obviously learn how many or whichever languages you want. It depends on what your goals are and why you're learning the language. So just be mindful of the fact that you're probably going to make much slower progress, and that's okay. But obviously if there's a reason you're learning the language, it's probably not the best to learn multiple at the same time, so you can spend all your time focusing on one specific language. So they're the things that I have considered and I'm thinking about when it comes to learning 4 languages this year. Like I said, I'm mainly focusing on 2, one's for fun, and then the 4th one, it'll just depend on how much time I have to just pick bits up from where I remember. So if you're learning multiple languages this year, I'd love to know which languages you're learning and what you're doing to make it easier to learn multiple languages at the same time. Please leave that in the comments below. I'd love to know, and thank you for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!